All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the MVP Cast, How to Become More podcast. On today's episode, alongside Francois Lepien, we have my man, Steve Poznanski. Hopefully, I'm saying that right, with Intellicard USA. Welcome, Steve.
Hey, Josh, Francois, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Pleasure to have you.
Yeah, awesome. So, Steve runs Intellicard USA, which is a digital business card platform, and I'll let him kind of introduce himself and talk a little bit about that.
Well, again, thank you both for having me. I appreciate it, and it's definitely going to enjoy this. I'm the CEO of Intellicard USA. Like Josh said, we create and design digital business cards. Basic point is to help you reach people easier, faster, better, and due to the apocalypse, safer. So now you don't have to exchange, physical cards. And really the key is not so much the card itself. Well, yeah, it really is, but think about paper cards. They really are, they're useless. I mean, we're not looking to replace them, but if you think about it, 10 billion paper cards are printed in the United States. 88% of those are thrown out or lost or put in a pile. I'm sure everybody, and you two gentlemen included, are put in a pile within the first 48 to 72 hours. And as much as I may like you, I'm not going to carry your paper card around me in my pants or in my jacket for however long I go about my business. So with our card, it's perfect because our card will sit right here on your telephone. And, so there you go. So, you want to share it or anything. If I'm out and about and I say, in 2 days from now, I meet someone and I say, well, I just met this guy, Josh, let me text you his card. Or I met Francois because he's going to get a card at some point in time. I say, let me text you Francois's card. And then that's how it really snowballs. And again, when we started this five and a half years ago, we started with the one card Francois just showed you. Since then, we have over 30,000 card holders. So we're growing. So things are okay.
That's awesome.
So just right there and then, I'd like to say, for How to Become More MVP podcast, we want to get entrepreneurs to be fired up. And Steve, you mentioned something. Since 5 years ago, we had one card.
Correct.
It all starts with one, ladies and gentlemen. It's one. Right. Don't say, oh, these guys, he has 30,000. I have nothing. He started with one. I started with one. Josh started with one. We all start with one. And that's okay. That's okay. And now you're starting to move. And as you keep moving, you're going to gain some momentum. And then more people that come. You're going to tweak it along the way. And that's awesome. And you talk about cards. Well, here's my box of cards. And the only reason why I have them smart enough in the back of my cards to put a goal card. So therefore, my cards were sticking around, but people are not using them anymore. So I use them for my own goal cards that I carry that everywhere. So you are correct that cards are now dinosaurs, but nevertheless, the digital aspect is something that, hey, we can carry how many on this thing? Like gazillions. So yes.
Right.
And everybody has a phone,
right?
And they have the ability to have one, right? And one thing I like too, and I know you didn't mention or you were going to, Steve, is the QR code aspect. I've actually taken that QR code and I send out postcards to my clients with that QR code for another reinforcement. Hey, if you don't have this, get it.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up. It's because, if you think back 5 years ago and you ask somebody about a QR code, they were like, what's that?
Right.
It was really going, it was around, then it went out of style. And because of the apocalypse, it was a necessity to have it come back, right? And now, you remember back 5 years ago, well, 3 years ago before COVID, you had to have a QR reader app on your phone in order to read a QR code. Now all you need to do is open up your phone camera and point it at the QR code, and whatever you're pointing at will then open up on your phone. It's the same way, with the card. And Josh, it's great that you do that with the QR code. A lot of people put it on marketing material. People put it on the back of their paper card if they still want to have a physical card, right? They still want to feel the need to give something out. But one of the great things I think about our digital card is one of the other things that we can do is we also could create a tiny URL for you, which shortens the link to the card. So when you're presenting to, let's say, 500 people, you can actually get your card into the hands of 500 people in less than 2 seconds. Think about that.
Yeah.
You know, so again, there are so many benefits to it, but yeah, Francois, you hit the nail on the head. You know, you start with one. You have to start somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be ups and downs. They're going to be highs and lows, but you have to fight through it if you want to be successful.
Absolutely. Talking about QR codes, I'll tell you a story. I had a construction company, and on my truck that was wrapped around, I had QR codes on them. People didn't even know what it was. And so that was like in 2012 that I said, what is this? And nobody knew you need to have a QR. So it dropped. And now it's back like a passion. So all this to say that there's fluctuations in the market. And what are we going to do? Just be bystanders and let it go, or embark into things that can lead us to the next level? That's what being fired up about being an entrepreneur is, the MVP. You got to keep on moving. You got to keep on doing things, and it changes and you adapt and you keep going. That's why we're making this a podcast that is weekly and live, because we are making sure that people are fired up about not the challenges that they have, but the possibilities that's ahead of them, and giving them the tools. And Intellicard is one of them that we'd like to provide you guys with.
Indeed. And I want to take on that note real quick, Francois. I was reading something this morning, and they said that necessity is the mother of innovation, right? And when you talk about QR codes, right, 5-6 years ago, you had to have this, special technology to read it. Now here we are 5 years later, literally any phone that's a smartphone, basically, right? You could take a picture and boom, it pops it right up. So again, the necessity, and a lot of this was driven out of probably COVID, right? All these restaurants and dining places, you don't even get a menu anymore. You gotta use your phone, which to me, I think has its own challenges with the impersonability of, having that conversation, because then people have the phone in their face, but that's a whole nother thing. The point is the QR code is powerful. And again, necessity is the mother of innovation. And here we are expanding on that thought.
And, if you think about it, let's say you buy 1,000 paper cards and you spend, you're going to buy good cards. I mean, not everybody's going to go to Vistaprint and spend $18 and get, 500 cards. But,
yeah,
you can get really good cards for $500, $1,000 or whatever. But what happens halfway through that box of cards when you change a phone number, or you change an email, or you move? You have a different office location. Well, those 500 cards, either you're going to sit and scratch the information off, and that'll make you look very professional, or you're going to throw out those 500 cards and buy another box of 1,000. The beauty with us is, and Josh will be able to attest to this, with us, you just email our support, say, I'm making a change. I need an update. I want to change an email. I want to change a phone number. We make those changes normally under 2 hours to be, flexible. And not only does it change on your card, but everybody in your network that has your card now has the updated version of your information.
That's awesome. So we talk about fired up and good products. What gets you fired up as an entrepreneur, Steve? Tell us a little bit about that. What's making you tick and making you go, yes?
Every day I wake up fires me up, to be honest. I love doing what I'm doing. I love the challenges, the ups and downs. Back in the day, I don't want to date myself, but when I played college basketball, back in the 80s, and the athlete in me wants the challenge. I wake up every day. I can't wait to get on the phone. I can't wait to talk to customers. I just love the action. It's like, for me, it's an addiction, right? You have to love what you do. You have to be passionate about what you do, because without passion, without love, without pride, then what do you really have? You can go work 9 to 5. That's okay. It might be a great job. I don't knock it. I did it for quite a number of years, but there's nothing like being responsible to yourself and for yourself and for the people you care about around you. So, to answer your question, Francois, in a short term, what fires me up? Doing this, waking up every day and getting to meet people like yourself, like Josh, and just going through the daily trials, right? The ups, the downs, because no matter how down you get, there's always a correlation to how up you're gonna be, right? And that's what I love, because I love to learn. And people look at, sometimes they say, well, it's a struggle, and yeah, but that's okay. You learn from those struggles. So when they come up again, which they inevitably do, you'll be able to attack those in a different manner. So they are no longer struggles. People look at struggles in a negative way. I don't. I think I look at it in a positive way, because my struggles become learning experiences and now are my benefits, right? So that's really what fires me up.
That's awesome. I like, just to piggyback on this thing, is one of the things. Let's take struggles with money and your ability. So if you say, I want to, the cliche now is 10,000 a month. Now people are saying 20,000 a month. So let's say you're at 10,000 and you want 20,000. Says, I want it. So if 20,000 was to come at you when you're at the 10,000, it will crush you. So now I'll make an analogy that I love everybody to understand. Also, I like to bring all my clients to is, we go to the gym and we take 25 pounds. And we got 25 pounds. It gets easy, then 30, then 40, then 50, then 60, then 100. And now we're doing 100. So now when you're at 100, the 50 is now super easy to do. But if we're at 100 and we says, oh, I want 200, let's say they're dollars, 100,000. So you want 200,000. Someone throws 200 pounds at you, boom. Maybe you'll hold it for a while, but it's going to crush you. And that's what challenges do. Challenges make you stronger. So you go from 100 to 125 to 150 to 175. Then you're at 200. Then you can not only receive it, but you can hold it. And this is something that is paramount. We need to pay the price, ladies and gentlemen. Get fired up about what Steve said. Hey, the challenges are there. They make us stronger. And as we're stronger, we'll be able to handle more. And then when we handle more, guess what? We'll be able to serve more and add value to more people. And that wheel just keeps going and going. And you can tell me that I'm fired up about these things. We need to embrace challenges because they make us better to actually do more and become more for others and serve them and make them become more so they can serve more in turn in whatever industry that they're in. This is great.
And that's, that's a great point, because I think one of the downfalls that people have is they look at everybody on social media. Joe X is doing this. Bob is doing that. Jim is doing this. They're making 10, 20, 30,000 a month. So right there, you set the goal in your mind. I want to be like Bob. I have to make, but no, you don't have to be like Bob, because Bob didn't just wake up to make that. Mm-hmm. You have to set your expectations and manage your expectations where you could actually eat, right? You could eat those expectations, just like you said, 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds. Start with a reasonable and manageable number, because what ends up happening is if you set your goals too high right off the bat and you don't reach them, frustration sets in. The failure mindset sets in. And then you're like, why am I doing this? As opposed to saying, I want to start this month and I want to make $2,000. Make the two. Okay. $2,000 is not a lot of money. It is a lot of money, people. It is a lot of money, right? Make the two. Make the two again next month. Then go, okay, now I want 4. And you keep building it up. It's a process. Listen, I've been doing this now for 5.5 years. And trust me, it's a process, okay? And I could have quit so many times. But I set my expectations. I put in the work. And, thank God, knock on wood, it's gotten us to where we are today.
Yeah. And I was gonna kind of point that out. Steve, you mentioned earlier that you started with 1 and now you're at 30,000. What were your goals, starting out like, and how have those changed, over the 5 years?
Well, it's funny because when I started with 1, my goal was I was alone, first of all, not alone in life. I was alone in business. My goal was I had a goal of how many calls I wanted to make a day. And I set myself up to make 100 calls a day. Okay. 100 calls a day plus X amount of reaches out on LinkedIn, etc. And by doing that, you make 100. 95 might not be good, but you might get 5. You might get 1. But from that 1, now you've just doubled how many cards you have, right? So now you have 2 cards. From 2 cards, you keep making the calls. And even when you get to 99, you might be exhausted, but you got to make that last call. So when I originally started, that was my goal, is how many calls I could make. I didn't put an amount on how many cards we wanted to sell. Okay, because I knew that would come if I put in the work. After a while, then I started putting in the goals of how many cards we want to do a month. And, first year wasn't that many, honestly. In the second year, I wanted to do more. And then now you're building up steam. And now, we get people that order cards that we don't even talk to them. They've seen us. They've seen somebody else. They bumped into Josh. Josh has a card. I want one. But we're out there now. So, so the goals have become larger now. And if we miss them, that's okay. It's okay, because there's next month. Yeah. But I'm not putting something out there that I'm going to fail at, because that just, failure is not an option. And I don't like to not meet my personal goals. See, the pressure that I put on as an entrepreneur on myself is a lot more than the pressure anybody could put on me if I was working for them.
Yeah, and that's a good point that you make, Steve. And that's really what it takes, being an entrepreneur, being in business for yourself, is you got to be able to have that discipline and apply pressure to yourself. A diamond is created through pressure, right? And I say all the greatest people out there in business, they evolved through pressure, right? And the best pressure you can have is on yourself. And previously you were saying about competing, right? Professionals don't compete; they create, right? And when you compete with yourself, you don't have that. Oh, am I doing this? It's simply data that you can go off of, right? This is what I've done this month. This is what I can do this month, and you just reflect and go over it, right? And you have incremental growth. You're gonna reach your goals, and you're gonna do more.
Right. Now you're opening the door for me on something when we talk about the weights before. I don't know if any of you have been to a gym or something. I myself, I'm a Canadian champion in Taekwondo. So if I'm a gold medal guy, and so that means that I'm a champion. And because I'm a champion, I've been there, went and gone. But the thing is, I would not have been able to do it without a good coach. Impossible. So many people joined with me and they all quit, because it was just themselves. You need to have someone that knows the shortcuts, someone that can help you, because we get kicked in the head, to be nice, when we're entrepreneurs. And so how are you going to get back up? Sometimes we're just knocked out. We need to have someone pick us up. And that's why the invaluable portion of having a very good coach, not Joe Blow, not Google. Google is not your coach. YouTube videos are not your coach. That's not real.
Wait, Francois, you're saying I've been lied to? I was lied to? Google's not my coach?
Exactly. You've been lied to. It's like people says, hey, I'm hungry. And so you start eating chips, and then you wonder why you're not strong. Well, you're eating the wrong, it's food, but it's not the right food. So people that know can accelerate this process and stop so many people. This is my pet peeve. So many people have a good product or service. It's fantastic. And there's a need for it, but yet their inability to bridge that gap makes them go out of business, because you can't do it alone. You need to have other people with you. Once you do that, you're stronger. Together, everyone achieves more. TEAM. That's what it stands for. And so we need to get together. And that's why we're doing the MVP and how to become more. Why? Because as we get together, we get experiences like Steve has just mentioned. It fires you up to say, oh, man, I'm not the only one that's hitting walls. No, you're not. And we have to go forward and make it happen. That's awesome.
Yeah, and also just remember, Francois, a coach, we all need one, right? We all have someone that we turn to. And again, there are so many people out there that are selling themselves off as life coaches, business coaches, whatever. Find yourself the right person. And the reason why I say that is because they have been through what you're going through, right? So I had I used to work for a company called Computer Associates, and may he rest in peace, Charles Wong was the CEO. And he once, everyone said, Charles, why do you go out and buy companies? He said, well, why reinvent the wheel, right? I'm going to take what they have and add it to what I have, and I'm going to grow. And that's really what you need to do as an entrepreneur. Get yourself help. And I don't care what anybody says.
Yes. Absolutely.
Nobody is too big to ask for help.
That's right.
Actually, I have a stat from over 1,000. Is that okay if I share that stat? Sometimes I say 1,000 conversations with people with the following. People that have zero coaches. And by coaches, I mean high-level paying coaches. 7, 8, 15, 20, 30, $40,000 coaches. That's what I'm talking about, coaches. People that have zero coaches make 100,000 or less. People that have one high-level paying coach make from 100 to 250. People that make 250 to half, they have 2 and 3 coaches. Half to 1, they have 4 and 5. $1 million plus, they have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 coaches. You're going to go, what? They spend $500,000 on coaches? It's like, for the money that they're making, it's peanuts, it's change. So ask yourself, how many coaches have you got? I got 3 coaches. You know exactly how much money I'm making. And that's been again and again and again proven. And now the caveat on this is not, oh, when I make 100, I'll buy a coach. No. You get the coach, then you get to the 100. And then when you make the 2 coaches, then you get past the 250. You have to do it first. It's like a pump. You need to prime the pump with water. If it's not primed, you're going to click that thing, click, click, click. Nothing happens. You put some water, all of a sudden, water comes out as much as you want. I like to say that life is like a wood stove. And you tell the wood stove, give me some heat. And the wood stove laughs at you and says, give me some wood, and I'll give you as much heat as you give me wood. And
right.
That's a shift that we need to have. We first need to give and prime. Once you do that, then it starts coming, and it gets much easier with the momentum. I want my soapbox there, but it's something that's very dear to me, and it's so necessary. Absolutely cool. So
Steve, I wanted to kind of segue in. You've talked about your progression in business and goals and stuff. Are there any challenges that you've faced and that you can kind of share on, and how you've overcome those and been able to grow to where you are today?
Oh, challenges. I mean, yeah, there are lots of challenges. Again, I think we've kind of hit a lot of them, and what people go through and why some fail and why some succeed, right? Mm-hmm. Your challenges are, some of them are self-inflicted challenges where you want too much, or you set your goals too high and you don't make them, and there's no way you'll ever overcome that, right? The other challenges are, when we started, our biggest thing was education. Because we're trying to get people to change a mindset of, like Francois said, paper cards have been around since dinosaurs. I would think, with rocks and everything. But, you're trying to get people to change the mindset, how they market themselves, how they network, how they share information. And that was really, and it still is in a way, one of our biggest challenges, is because excuse me, people just love to give out something physical. They're so tied up into it. But as you saw, Francois, before we even got on, I texted you my card, and we're probably 1,000 miles apart, right? And we're meeting through this, and I'm grateful for that. But you would have never gotten my card. I would have never met you. Again, we would have never met. Here's my point. We would have never met had it not been for the card and Josh purchasing a card from us. I mean, I had no business meeting Josh, right? It's the same thing. And again, so the education was our biggest, and it still remains one of our biggest challenges. So The only thing we can do is educate, and educate some more. And we're not going to get everybody. I know that. We're not going to convince everybody. But the way I look at it, if there are 10 billion paper cards printed in the United States every year, give me a 0.5%. I'm good. We don't have to get everybody because, again, there are apps out there that do similar things, but there's room for everybody, right? And that's what you have to. Oh, the competition's killing me. No, you're killing yourself. The competition's not killing you. Just because, Josh might not want your card, Francois might, but that's okay. Everybody has a choice and a decision to make. So, again, I think I kind of went a long way around it, but our biggest challenge has been education and the need to convince everybody, right? Once I stopped trying to convince everybody, things became a lot easier.
Interesting. Yeah. So therefore you went from, and when we try to convince everybody, we go at it from lack. We say, oh, there's not enough. There is plenty. And if we just crunch down the numbers, we don't need gazillion people. That's not true. Just a few, and then serve them well. Actually, I want to get into something that before the call, ladies and gentlemen, Steve said something that's a pet peeve of me. And he said that we serve our clients the best we can all the time. I am such an advocate of this. And to me, if there is to be a quality for a business to strive and continue, it's the quality of the service they give to their clients. If you don't serve those people, you serve someone wrong, he's going to tell 20 people. You serve someone right, he might tell one. So he might tell one. So therefore, make sure you serve people and bend over backwards for them. You're going to say, well, I'm not going to do that. Well, then you're going to be short-lived. It is important to serve the people. You put customers first. If there's something that's not happening, you go for it. And he says, hey, we dropped the ball. I know, hey, Steve, I know we dropped the ball here. I'm sorry about this. It happened, and I have to eat it. It happened. How can I help you to make this better? And that's what you do. And at the other end, they're going to go, wow, the Saturday supper, they're going to tell, hey, what happened this week? Man, I had this thing that went wrong, and this guy, Steve, called me right away, and he solved it. Well, who? Steve, what does he do? Intellicard. What's that? Boom, boom, boom. That's how your business grows. Yeah,
and it's funny, and it's funny you say that because I truly believe, and I've been around the block quite a few times, and I truly believe the lost art is not sales. The lost art is customer service. Indeed. And I'm not McDonald's, okay? Where if I could, I'll give you a cold burger, you're going to come back anyway, so I really don't care, right? I believe that the customer support aspect of our card is the biggest differentiator we could have, okay? And again, this is going to go back to your challenges question, because one of the challenges I had in the beginning when I was alone was it didn't matter what time. 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night, I'd get a text message because everybody has my cell phone, okay? Because they have my card. I'd get a text message, Steve, I need my card updated. You know what I would do? I would get out of bed and I'd go update their card myself. And I've had to pull back from that personally a little bit because that was just killing me. But I could tell you this, there are still times where we get messages, because after hours, I'll get the messages where I'm still doing work 10, 11 o'clock at night to make changes to somebody's card or on a weekend. That's the other beauty about what we do. So I'll give you an example. The other day I was out in the supermarket, but I was waiting in my car. And somebody sent me a message. Hey, Steve, I need this updated. I forgot to ask you yesterday. Could you please do this for me? I'm going into a meeting in 15 minutes. What do you need? I need this changed. I need this updated. Send me the link, do whatever. And I was able to do it on my phone in the car for that person. So, and Josh will tell you, he'll send us requests to do them and we get them done. But, Francois, you're right. If your support and your service stinks, I have other options.
And so this is something, we're talking about Intellicard, but ladies and gentlemen, your own business, whenever that you are doing right now, if you say, I'm not willing to do this, well, then you will not go from 1 card to 30,000 cards. It will not happen. So, but the silver lining in this is that the big weight that you need to push at first will ease up as you gain some momentum. And as you start to be more profitable, then you'll be able to delegate to others and have a better life. But you need to pay the price. There is no elevator for success. We all need to take the stairs, all of us. And as we take the stairs, we get stronger, better cardio, better legs, bigger legs. And guess what? At the top, the view is wonderful. But you need to climb step by step to get there. And that's the wonderful thing that, and as we said, if you're an employee and you love what you're doing, that's fantastic. But mainly we're entrepreneurs in this podcast. And though we decided to take it upon us because we're all working really hard for someone else before and says, what am I doing? What if I was to work this hard for me? And then it starts to take off. Of course, there's a roller coaster, but that's okay. At least now you're driving and it's making it happen. And service to others is what's going to be the rocket fuel to propel your business to the next level. Absolutely.
Yeah. And, it's funny that you mentioned roller coaster, Francois, because there's a saying that goes that the only person that dies or gets hurt on the roller coaster is the one that jumps off in the middle of the ride. You got to ride that thing to the end, baby, and keep on going. An object in motion will stay in motion, but you got to like the stove, you got to keep giving it wood. You got to keep feeding it and feed yourself, feed your mind, and feed your business. And Steve, and I'm a personal testimony, Intellicard USA, they have, I think that is the one thing that really does separate them from any other, digital card platform is the customer service aspect. Steve is absolutely 100% on top of that between himself and his staff. They will update it anytime, anywhere, and make it happen for you. And like Francois said, that service aspect is what separates Steve and his staff from any other similar product in the market.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So what do you have? What do you have coming up? What's the next big goal for you and Intellicard USA, Steve? You want to share anything?
No, we've actually, like Francois said, since the beginning, we've made a lot of changes. We've tweaked a lot of things. We've come out with better product. We've added things that we didn't have originally. My goal is probably to take a vacation at some point in time, but I can't see that happening anytime soon. But, there's nothing really coming up. I mean, for us, people might get bored after a while, right? Every day for us is Groundhog's Day. It's the same as yesterday. Just we add more, we build more, we grow more. And as long as we have more good days than bad, that's my goal, right? Is to have more good days than bad days. In the beginning, the bad days really outweighed the good days. But when the good days happened, they were special. They were truly special. I mean, if you think about it, one of our biggest customers is the NFL alumni. Okay. They have 3,000 cards. 3,000 ex-NFL players have our cards. Super Bowl champions, MVPs, Hall of Famers. That was a great day. When we got that deal, that was a great day. And it's still a great day because we have a great relationship with them. So, excuse me. So, I'm just happy every single day to be able to fight the fight. I love the battle. I love the wars. I just love being in the trenches and doing what I do every single day. So, our goal as anybody else is to continue to grow, and we have, and we will continue that way. And I don't intend on stopping because this is just too much fun, right? If you can't have fun doing it, don't do it. That's what I'll tell you this right now. There's no coach in the world that'll help you through this. If you're not having fun doing it, don't do it. Period. So there you go. That's what I'll say.
Absolutely. So you're at 30,000. What are we going to 100? 500,000. How many cards can we get out there?
We can get out as many as possible. It's all a matter of growth. But the problem, here's the deal. All right. We don't want to grow so fast to a point where we can no longer serve and support the way we are, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to build the top floor of the house when I'm missing, I don't want to have 15 floors on a house, but I'm missing 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12.
That's right.
Because then everything will pancake down on us. And the one thing I want to do is slow and steady growth, so we can continue to build the infrastructure and the foundation to keep up with that particular growth, so we don't lose what we are famous for, if you will. We won't lose that support. I don't want to lose that.
Yeah.
So listen, if we grow another 5,000 customers this year, fantastic. It's reasonable. It's not, if you think about it, it's not that many. If we get 3,000, 4,000, I'm okay with that. 5,000 is nice. And if we can grow at a pace where we're growing 5,000 a year for the next 3 years, okay, that's fine, because you have to understand the other thing that we have is we have the renewals.
Yes.
Right now, 85%, 87% of the people that have our card renew every single year. So we're basically adding on top of what we have. And as long as that growth continues at a reasonable pace, we're good. We're good.
That's awesome. And I love that. Cool. I love that you really, value that, again, that service aspect that you guys provide, and you stick true to that you're going to grow at a pace that you can maintain that, all the way up as you continue to grow. So awesome. Kudos to you. You're an amazing example of a hardworking entrepreneur, successful, great business, and doing things the right way, giving value to your clients each and every day. So that is awesome. And again, thank you for being on the show. I will be sure to have all your information.
We need to have the fun part.
I wasn't ending it. I was going to give it back to you.
What would that be?
I knew that was coming. I was hoping we'd get off the phone without me having.
No. This is a fun one for everybody. What would be your superpower?
I could say I'd like to be invisible so I could walk in and out of a bank vault, but that's not going to happen.
They'd see the money walking out in the bag.
Right, exactly. Because the money wouldn't be invisible, right? People don't think of that. That's good. I could say I'd like to see the future, but that's okay. I'm happy living in the present. The future will come at its own pace.
You can see the future, Steve. It's called your imagination.
Ooh.
Very good. Very good. I don't know if anybody wants my imagination, though, but, I think if I had a superpower, it would be speed.
Okay. Expand.
Okay. And when I say speed, I mean being able to get from one place to the next a lot faster, being able to get from 30,000 to 100,000 faster, but at the same time, maintain what we have. And just being able to move around a lot faster. If I could be in multiple places at once just because I'm the Flash, that's great. But as long as I take care of where I just came from. So I think I'd have to say speed would be my desired superpower.
Awesome.
Cool. Excellent.
Speed.
I love it.
And there you have it, everybody. So we'll have your information. Obviously, this is live, but we'll restream it or we'll repost it, and I'll give you the feed on it. And then the audio portion will go on the podcast platform that we stream out on. And to wrap up today's show, Francois has a special announcement that he has coming up. Go ahead, Francois. Let everybody know what you got going on tomorrow, I believe, at 1:00, right?
Thank you so much. But is there a way for me to put a link or something? I don't know. I don't know if it's possible or not.
Anyway, you might be able to share your screen.
Tomorrow I have a super class, and I don't believe in 5-day things that last forever. It's a super class, and what it does, it talks about why some people succeed and others don't. The flaw with the proven formulas, success formulas, and what to do about it. And it's an interesting one because unlike many people that do presentations, at the end, you're invited to a sales pitch. There is no such thing. At the end, you're invited to a 30-minute call one-on-one with me, while I will help you uncover some hidden challenges, bring clarity, and give you solutions. That is all on me. It's unheard of, and that's okay. Why? Because I over-deliver. That's what I do. So it's pretty hard. Howtobecomemore.com is my website, but how to get there, I don't know. Actually, yes, you can go on LinkedIn. You go on LinkedIn event and register there. If you go to LinkedIn event on why some succeed and others don't, that's where you can find it. You can register there and you get some links. But it's going to be powerful. And actually, I tell you, I've been doing this for a while. And this specific topic, people are calling me, can you do it again? Can you do it again? Can you do it again? Because of the power content that is in there. So my invitation is to each and every one of you. If you want to be there, it'll be my pleasure. Making it to the MVP, How to Become More podcast, is one of the sure ways every week for you to get fired up as an entrepreneur and find out, like people like Steve, that there is challenges, but that there's things that he did to help overcome, and you can incorporate that in your own business, in your entrepreneurship, in order for you to get better and serve more people. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Thank you for coming here today.
Absolutely. And I'll be sure to share that link, Francois, in the live streams of these after we end the broadcast, so everybody can reach out to that.
We will have you information there as well.
Yes. And we're live on your LinkedIn right now.
Information will be there as well.
If anybody's seeing it, they'll be able to get to it. Okay.
So, gentlemen, I want to say I want to thank you so much for having me. I definitely appreciate the time. I hope I didn't bore you. And the last message I'd give to everybody is just don't give up. This is not easy. If it was, everybody would do it. It's not for the faint of heart.
That's right.
The rewards outweigh anything you can imagine. If you want to spend more time with your loved ones, more time with your family, doing things you want to do, this is the way to do it. So again, thank you, gentlemen, for having me. I appreciate it. And I look forward to hearing from you some more.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Steve, for being here.
Thank you,
Josh.
Francois, as always. And we'll be sure to share Steve's information. And if you haven't seen, check out IntelliCardUSA.com. It is by far the best digital card out there. I'm not just saying that because I'm a consumer. It truly is. And check it out. And again, we'll see you next time on the MVP Cast, How to Become More podcast. Make it a great day.